I'm working on my 1999 Nissan Altima. I'm going to replace the lower idler pulley, and as long as I'm doing that, I might as well replace both of the belts. First thing I did is took the wheel off, and I think it's going to be pretty simple to take this plastic piece off here. It'll make it a lot simpler to get to all the belts and the pulley and everything. I've also disconnected my negative battery cable so it doesn't start for some reason. I do have remote start on here. I mean, somebody could hit a button. One day I came out of the grocery store and my car was running. Somebody else's remote start started it. And here's my idler. It's a little bit loose and wobbly. So that means my bearings are starting to go out. I am hearing a noise when I start my car up. When the engine's running, I can hear something. One of these pulleys is rattling. The other day, the upper one locked up, and so I'm going to go ahead and change out the bottom one before it goes bad too. So I've got a 14mm socket. I'll loosen that up, and then also loosen up the tensioner. And that makes it so you can get the belt off, and then I'm going to completely take this off also. Go ahead and take the belt off. Now I've also loosened up the alternator. I had to loosen this. I had to loosen that. And then there's down at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, but right there's a bolt that I had to loosen. And then also on the other side, I had to loosen that bolt. Then I can push it forward, and hopefully this is enough slack that I can get this belt off. Not quite enough. There we go. It's kind of hard to get at these belts, but it can be done. Not too bad. As long as I have the belt off, I'm going to go ahead and spin this. It's nice and quiet. Doesn't wiggle around. I'm going to try this one over here. That one's doesn't seem to be making any horrible noises or anything. Not loose. Yeah. Also spin the alternator. That sounds okay. Not making any noise. Fortunately, the water pump sounds okay too, which is good because I really don't want to replace that. So I've got the main belt on that runs the alternator, the water pump, the power steering, and the idler. Now just to move on down to this other one here. So I put this pulley back on the car just to show you what it sounds like when I try to spin it. It just doesn't sound good at all. So that's funny that my top idler pulley actually locked up last week, and this bottom one's going out too. That's funny, they both went out at the same time. There we go. It was kind of funny last week when that top one locked up. I was at a stoplight with my daughter, and it actually started smoking the belt. There was all kinds of smoke rolling out from underneath the hood. I'll go ahead and tighten this bottom one up until the belt feels like it has about the right tension on it. I didn't record it, but I also tighten up the belt for the alternator and tighten down all the bolts for the alternator. That's not too bad. I'll go ahead and tighten up the center. I should have made a before and after recording, but before you could really hear it kind of growling and howling. It sounded like I had a supercharger on here. It sounded kind of cool, actually. So if your car suddenly sounds like it has a supercharger in it, but you did not recently install a supercharger, the odds are pretty good that it's these pulleys. One or both of the pulleys. In my case, it was both of them. Both of my idler pulleys went out at 189,000 miles. So I think if I had about 150,000 miles in my car, I might go ahead and change them out rather than actually have them lock up or cause a problem while I'm driving down the road.